stopping to thank, to acknowledge, and worship, living in harmony with others, with responsibility and dignity, to have consciousness, to have morality, towards our existence in preparation of death. This is the proposition of life, and this is the formula of success. Now you may ask, why is it necessary to recognize or to worship a creator or to know and submit to God at all? I say this to you. How psychologically important is it for an individual, you and I, to know our parents? Well, psychologists will tell you that it's very critical for the human being to know their parents. Even if they were raised as an orphan and they were given everything, all the status, education, and all the benefits of life, that person will still, all of their lives, they will always want to know who are their parents. How critical is it for the individual to understand their past and to plan for their future? How important is it for children to show respect and gratitude for their parents? How many parents would appreciate their children if their children grew up and spit in their faces and disrespected them and disobeyed them and disregarded all the values that they gave them? Would they still love their children? How important is it and how critical is it for citizens of a country to have loyalty and honor for their country? All of you would agree that all of this is necessary. Certainly, human beings would all agree that we are all dependent, and no one is able to create themselves, and no one is able to acquire their basic needs by themselves. Human beings rely upon other human beings just to acquire their basic needs. As a matter of fact, it's come to be known that human beings need other human beings to such an extent that if a human being was given everything, but they were put in a room and a big house that they owned, sitting on 1,000 acres of land, with all the things around them that other human beings have, but they had no other human beings to talk to, do you know what would happen? Eventually that person would fall into depression, and inevitably that person would go crazy, and inevitably that person would die, simply because humans need other humans just for social interaction. Therefore, it is quite reasonable to consider the obligation of acknowledging, giving thanks, and worshiping the creator of this universe. How psychologically important is it for you and I to show our gratitude for our benefactor? How important it must be to our overall success and satisfaction in life to add this dimension, gratitude, to our consciousness, to help us in our ability to conceptualize our Creator and to be aware of the attributes of that Creator. I want you to reflect upon one of the verses of the sacred scripture of the Quran that says, Allahu, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Just think for a moment and bear with me for a moment. the excursion is almost over. The sacred scripture, the Quran, says, Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Allah, the Almighty Creator, the sustainer of the heavens and the earth. There is no other benefactor, there is no other God except He. He is the life giver, the self-sustainer, the eternal, and the only absolute. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. He requires, that benefactor, that creator requires no rest, and nor does that benefactor require any kind of sleep, because fatigue does not affect that creator. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض. Everything in the heavens and the earth, whether it is seen, whether it is unseen, subtle, evident, high, low, microscopic, in the heavens or the earth, inside or outside, it all belongs to that creator. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه. So who is it? Who is it among the creatures? Who is it among the creatures, the men or the jinn or the angels or the animals? Who is it that can contend with that benefactor and that creator? Who is it that can achieve anything without his permission? يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم. He knows what goes in front of them in their lives, their history, and he knows what follows them in their posterity and their history. He knows completely, because their lives are within the capsule of his knowledge. ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء. And they will never, the creatures, the human beings with intelligence, they will never be able to snatch or harbor or harness any knowledge from him other than what he allows them to do so. وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. His throne, according to his majesty, extends above the heavens and the earth, above the waters, above the galaxies, outside the realm of time and space. ولا يعوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. And he does not suffer any fatigue. Nothing is taken from him. If he gives the whole world what it asks for, it doesn't decrease any of his wealth. And sustaining the heavens and the earth doesn't require any effort, because he owns it and he sustains it by his will. And he is Aliul Azim. He is the high, he's the mighty, he's the powerful, he's the sovereign, he's the owner, he's the ruler, he's the Lord, he's the creator. That's the description of God. So I ask you, do you know anybody else that you can describe that way?